If you're over 60, some nuts you've been told are healthy could quietly be working against you. Not because nuts are bad, but because your body doesn't process them the same way it did at 40. Many seniors notice more joint stiffness, digestive discomfort, fatigue, or inflammation, and never suspect that a so-called healthy snack might be contributing. At the same time, other nuts can do the exact opposite, supporting heart health, brain function, and energy when chosen and used correctly. In this video, we're not using fear or extremes. We're using science to separate the nuts you should limit after 60 from the nuts you can safely eat every day, and why aging changes the rules. After the age of 60, the body does not suddenly become unhealthy, but it does become less forgiving. Many of the systems that once handled food effortlessly now work with smaller margins of error. This is why foods that caused no issues earlier in life can begin to create subtle problems later on, not immediately and not dramatically, but gradually. One of the most important changes is digestive efficiency. As we age, the production of stomach acid and digestive enzymes tends to decline. This affects how well dense foods like nuts are broken down. Nuts contain fats, fiber, and plant compounds that require strong digestion to process properly. When digestion slows, these components can sit longer in the gut, leading to bloating, discomfort, or poor nutrient absorption. This doesn't mean nuts become harmful, but it does mean portion size, preparation, and type matter more than they once did. Another major change involves mineral handling, particularly by the kidneys and digestive tract. After 60, the body becomes more sensitive to mineral load. Excess sodium, oxalates, or certain plant compounds are not cleared as efficiently as before. Nuts are nutrient-dense and mineral-rich, which is usually a benefit, but in larger or frequent amounts, this density can place additional stress on systems that are already working more slowly. This is especially relevant for seniors with a history of kidney stones, joint stiffness, or bone density concerns. Inflammation regulation also changes with age. The immune system becomes more reactive, and low-grade chronic inflammation becomes easier to trigger. Foods that tilt fat balance toward pro-inflammatory pathways, particularly when eaten frequently, can now have a more noticeable effect on joints, blood vessels, and overall energy. This is why dietary fat balance matters more after 60 than total fat intake alone. There are also changes in nutrient absorption. Minerals like magnesium, calcium, and zinc are absorbed less efficiently with age, even when intake remains the same. Certain plant compounds found in nuts can further interfere with absorption if consumed in large amounts. Over time, this can contribute to muscle weakness, fatigue, slower recovery, or bone issues, even in people who believe they are eating a healthy diet. Chewing ability and gut motility also play a role. Dental changes, reduced saliva production, and slower intestinal movement can make dense, dry foods harder to tolerate. Nuts that are eaten quickly, in large quantities, or without adequate chewing can be more difficult to digest and more likely to cause discomfort than they did earlier in life. The key point is that aging does not make healthy foods unhealthy. It makes dose, frequency, and preparation far more important. The body still benefits from nutrient-dense foods, but it now responds better to moderation, variety, and intentional choices. Understanding these changes allows seniors to work with their physiology instead of against it. By adjusting how foods are chosen and consumed, it's possible to continue enjoying their benefits while avoiding the subtle stresses that accumulate over time. After the age of 60, the goal is not to eliminate nuts entirely, but to understand which ones require more caution and why. Aging changes how the body handles fats, minerals, and digestion, and some nuts become easier to overconsume or harder to tolerate when eaten frequently or in large amounts. One category to be mindful of is nuts high in omega-6 fats when eaten regularly. Omega-6 fats are not inherently harmful. They are essential for normal cell function. The issue is balance. As we age, the body becomes more sensitive to chronic low-grade inflammation. Diets that are heavy in omega-6 fats and low in omega-3s can tilt inflammatory pathways in the wrong direction. Certain nuts are very dense sources of omega-6, and when they are eaten daily, especially as snacks, they can quietly contribute to joint stiffness, vascular stress, or lingering aches. This does not mean these nuts are bad, but frequent large portions may no longer be ideal after 60. Another group to limit involves nuts high in oxalates, particularly for seniors with a history of kidney stones, joint pain, or bone density concerns. Oxalates are natural plant compounds that can bind to minerals like calcium. In younger bodies, oxalates are often handled without issue. With age, kidney clearance becomes less efficient, and mineral balance becomes more fragile. Regularly consuming large amounts of high oxalate nuts can increase the burden on kidneys and may interfere with mineral availability needed for bone and muscle health. For susceptible individuals, moderation becomes especially important. Highly processed or heavily salted nuts are another concern. After 60, the kidneys are less tolerant of excessive sodium. Many roasted, flavored, or packaged nuts contain far more salt than people realize. While an occasional serving is unlikely to cause harm, frequent consumption can contribute to fluid retention, blood pressure issues, and cardiovascular strain. The nut itself may be nutritious, but processing can turn a healthy food into a subtle stressor. Portion size is a recurring theme. Nuts are extremely calorie-dense and fat-dense. A small handful can be beneficial. A large bowl eaten mindlessly can overwhelm digestion and energy regulation. Seniors often experience slower gastric emptying, meaning large portions sit longer in the stomach, increasing discomfort, bloating, or fatigue. What once felt like a light snack can become a heavy digestive load. Another factor is digestive tolerance. Some nuts are harder to chew and break down, especially for individuals with dental issues, reduced saliva production, or slower gut motility. Nuts eaten quickly or without adequate chewing are more likely to cause digestive discomfort than they did earlier in life. This is not a sign of poor health, but a signal that the digestive system needs more support. The key message is not fear, but discernment. After 60, nuts that are high in omega-6 fats, oxalates, sodium, or that are heavily processed should be treated as occasional foods rather than daily staples, especially in large portions. Limiting frequency, choosing smaller servings, and paying attention to how the body responds allows seniors to enjoy nuts without accumulating unnecessary stress. In short, aging does not make nuts unhealthy, it makes overuse and poor selection more costly. Choosing wisely creates room for the nuts that truly support healthy aging, which we'll cover next. After the age of 60, the goal shifts from simply avoiding harm to actively supporting the systems that decline with age. When chosen carefully, certain nuts can do exactly that. These are nuts that provide beneficial fats, key minerals, and compounds that support heart health, brain function, muscle maintenance, and inflammation control without placing unnecessary strain on digestion or mineral balance. One of the most valuable categories is nuts rich in omega-3 fats and low in inflammatory burden. Omega-3s help counteract chronic low-grade inflammation, which becomes easier to trigger as we age. They support joint comfort, blood vessel flexibility, and cognitive health. Nuts with a better omega-3 to omega-6 balance are especially useful for seniors because they help restore fat balance rather than disrupt it. This balance is more important than total fat intake after 60. Another key benefit of the right nuts is mineral support, particularly magnesium, zinc, and selenium. These minerals play critical roles in muscle function, immune resilience, nerve signaling, and energy production. Many older adults run low on magnesium and zinc due to reduced absorption and dietary gaps. Nuts that provide these minerals in bioavailable forms can help support sleep quality, muscle relaxation, wound healing, and overall vitality when eaten in appropriate portions. Digestive tolerance is also crucial. The best nuts for seniors are those that are easier to chew, digest, and absorb, especially when prepared properly. Nuts that are softer, can be ground, or blend easily into foods are generally better tolerated than very hard, dry varieties. Preparation matters as much as selection. Chopping, grinding, soaking, or consuming nuts alongside other foods can significantly improve comfort and nutrient absorption. Certain nuts also contain protective plant compounds that support aging tissues. Antioxidants found in some nuts help reduce oxidative stress in blood vessels and brain cells, supporting circulation and cognitive function. Over time, this protection can contribute to better focus, steadier energy, and reduced age-related decline. Portion control remains essential even with the best nuts. A small, intentional serving provides benefits without overwhelming digestion or energy regulation. For most seniors, this means a modest daily portion rather than large handfuls or constant snacking. Nuts are most effective when they are part of meals or structured snacks, not eaten mindlessly. Frequency matters as well. Nuts that support healthy aging can be included regularly, even daily, when portions are appropriate and the overall diet is balanced. Consistency allows the body to benefit from steady nutrient support without triggering stress responses. Importantly, nuts that are beneficial after 60 tend to support stability rather than stimulation. They do not spike blood sugar, overload sodium, or tilt inflammation. Instead, they provide slow, steady energy, support muscle and nerve function, and help maintain metabolic balance. In short, the right nuts can be powerful allies in healthy aging. When chosen for fat balance, mineral content, digestibility, and preparation, they help support the very systems that become more vulnerable with age. In the next section, we'll break down specific examples of these nuts and how to include them safely and effectively in a daily routine.
After the age of 60, what you eat matters, but how much and how you prepare it matters just as much. Even the healthiest nuts can become a source of discomfort or stress if portions are too large or preparation is ignored. Aging changes digestion speed, chewing efficiency, enzyme output, and mineral handling, which means the margin for error becomes smaller. Nuts are among the most nutrient-dense foods available. They are rich in fats, minerals, fiber, and plant compounds, but that density is a double-edged sword. A small amount can be beneficial, while a large amount can overwhelm digestion and energy regulation. For seniors, portion size is no longer just about calories. It directly affects comfort, absorption, and metabolic balance. One of the most common issues is overconsumption without awareness. Nuts are easy to eat quickly, especially when they are roasted, salted, or mixed into snacks. A handful can easily turn into multiple servings. In an older digestive system, large portions take longer to leave the stomach and intestines, increasing the likelihood of bloating, heaviness, reflux, or fatigue. What once felt like a light snack at 40 can feel draining at 70. Preparation plays a critical role in how well nuts are tolerated. Whole, hard nuts require strong chewing and robust digestive enzymes. With age, saliva production often declines, teeth may be weaker or missing, and chewing efficiency decreases. When nuts are swallowed without being thoroughly broken down, the digestive system has to work harder, and nutrients are less likely to be absorbed effectively. Simple preparation methods can dramatically improve tolerance. Chopping, grinding, or soaking nuts reduces the mechanical and digestive workload. Ground nuts release nutrients more easily, while soaking can soften texture and reduce certain compounds that interfere with mineral absorption. Even consuming nuts alongside meals rather than alone can improve digestion by stimulating enzyme release and slowing gastric emptying in a controlled way. Another important factor is timing and context. Nuts are best consumed as part of structured meals or intentional snacks, not eaten mindlessly throughout the day. Constant grazing keeps the digestive system working continuously, which can contribute to fatigue and poor appetite regulation. Structured intake allows the body to digest, absorb, and rest between meals. Portion guidance does not need to be rigid, but it should be intentional. For most seniors, a small daily portion, often 1 to 2 tablespoons of chopped or ground nuts, or a small handful when well tolerated, is sufficient to gain benefits without strain. More is rarely better. Preparation also affects nutrient availability. Properly prepared nuts allow minerals like magnesium and zinc to be absorbed more efficiently, supporting muscle function, nerve health, sleep quality, and immune resilience. Poorly prepared nuts may pass through the digestive tract largely unused, providing calories without benefits. The key takeaway is simple. Aging does not require restriction, but it does require precision. When nuts are eaten in appropriate portions and prepared thoughtfully, they remain powerful tools for healthy aging. When portion and preparation are ignored, even good foods can quietly become a source of stress. After the age of 60, many nutrition problems do not come from eating the wrong foods, but from small, repeated mistakes that quietly add stress to the body over time. These mistakes are rarely intentional. In most cases, they are habits that worked well earlier in life but no longer match the body's changing needs. One of the most common mistakes is assuming that healthy foods are always healthy in unlimited amounts. Nuts are a perfect example. Because they are associated with heart health and good fats, many seniors snack on them freely throughout the day. What often gets overlooked is how calorie-dense and digestion-heavy nuts are. Repeated large servings can overwhelm digestion, strain energy regulation, and contribute to bloating or fatigue even when the food itself is nutritious. Another frequent mistake is mindless snacking. Eating nuts straight from a bag or bowl makes it easy to lose track of portion size. Seniors may unintentionally consume several servings in one sitting, especially with roasted or salted varieties that encourage overeating. This constant intake keeps digestion active all day, leaving little time for rest and recovery. Over time, this can disrupt appetite signals and contribute to low energy. Many seniors also make the mistake of ignoring preparation. Hard, dry nuts require strong chewing, saliva, and digestive enzymes. With age, these processes slow. Nuts that are not chopped, ground, soaked, or eaten with meals are more likely to pass through partially digested. This results in discomfort and poor nutrient absorption, leading people to believe nuts don't agree with them, when the real issue is how they are consumed. Another common error is choosing convenience over quality. Packaged nut mixes, flavored nuts, and nut-based snacks often contain excessive sodium, added oils, or sugars. These additions place extra stress on the kidneys, blood pressure, and inflammation pathways. The nut itself may be beneficial, but processing changes how the body responds, especially after 60. Some seniors also fall into the trap of not listening to subtle body feedback. Early signs like mild bloating, joint stiffness, sluggish digestion, or fatigue are often dismissed as just aging. In reality, these are signals that intake, frequency, or preparation needs adjustment. Ignoring these cues allows small issues to accumulate into chronic discomfort. Another mistake is copying diets or habits designed for younger adults.
Nutrition advice aimed at high metabolism, intense exercise, or rapid weight loss often does not translate well to older bodies. Seniors may reduce meals too aggressively, rely too heavily on snacks, or follow rigid rules that create nutrient gaps or digestive strain. Finally, impatience plays a role. Many seniors make rapid changes and expect immediate improvements. When results are not instant, they abandon adjustments before the body has time to adapt. Aging bodies respond best to consistency and gradual refinement, not extremes. In short, the most common mistakes seniors make with nuts are not dramatic or reckless. They are subtle and habitual. Correcting them does not require restriction or fear. It requires awareness, moderation, proper preparation, and respect for how the body changes with age. When these mistakes are avoided, nuts can remain a supportive and enjoyable part of a healthy diet well into later life.
After the age of 60, nutrition works best when it follows a simple, repeatable framework rather than complicated rules or extreme restrictions. The goal is not perfection, but clarity. When the body receives clear signals consistently, it responds with better digestion, steadier energy, and less inflammation. The first principle is clarity of purpose. Every food should have a reason for being included. Nuts are not eaten because they are labeled healthy, but because they provide specific benefits, such as supportive fats, minerals, or energy stability. When foods are chosen intentionally, it becomes easier to notice how the body responds and to adjust before small issues become chronic problems. The second principle is moderation by default. After 60, more is rarely better. The digestive system, kidneys, and metabolic pathways operate with less flexibility than before. Small, consistent portions create far less stress than large or frequent servings. This applies even to the best foods. A modest daily portion of nuts delivers nutrients without overwhelming digestion or mineral handling. The third principle is preparation over restriction. Many problems come not from the food itself, but how it is consumed. Chopping, grinding, soaking, or eating nuts with meals improves tolerance and absorption. These small steps reduce digestive workload and increase nutrient availability without requiring elimination. Preparation allows the body to benefit from foods instead of fighting to process them. The fourth principle is structure instead of grazing. Eating at defined times gives the digestive system a clear start and stop, allowing proper breakdown, absorption, and recovery. Mindless snacking keeps digestion in a constant state of activity, which can lead to fatigue and poor appetite regulation. Structured meals and intentional snacks support energy balance and comfort. The fifth principle is feedback awareness. The body communicates through subtle signals, bloating, stiffness, fatigue, or changes in appetite. These are not signs of failure or aging gone wrong. They are information. Paying attention to these signals allows small adjustments in portion size, frequency, or preparation before problems escalate. The final principle is consistency over intensity. The aging body adapts slowly but reliably when conditions are stable. Frequent changes, extreme diets, or rapid shifts confuse the system and delay progress. Consistent choices, repeated daily, create the environment where digestion, energy regulation, and inflammation control can improve naturally. In short, the framework is simple. Choose foods with purpose, eat modest portions, prepare them thoughtfully, follow structure, listen to feedback, and stay consistent. When these principles are applied together, nutrition becomes easier, not harder, and healthy foods continue to support vitality well into later life. After the age of 60, nutrition is no longer about chasing trends or following rigid rules. It is about working with the body you have now. The goal is not to eat perfectly, but to eat intelligently, with awareness of how aging changes digestion, inflammation, and nutrient needs. Nuts are not inherently good or bad. What determines their impact is selection, portion, preparation, and consistency. When these factors are ignored, even healthy foods can quietly add stress. When they are respected, the same foods can become powerful tools for supporting energy, mobility, and long-term health. If there's one takeaway, it is this: problems rarely come from a single food. They come from patterns. Repeated overuse, poor preparation, or mindless habits accumulate over time and show up as stiffness, fatigue, digestive discomfort, or inflammation that feels like just aging. In reality, these are signals that the system needs refinement, not restriction. By choosing nuts that support fat balance and mineral needs, limiting those that create inflammatory or digestive strain, and paying attention to how much and how often they're eaten, seniors can dramatically reduce unnecessary stress on the body. Small adjustments, applied consistently, often produce noticeable improvements in comfort, energy, and resilience. Most importantly, this approach removes fear from food. There is no need to eliminate entire categories or follow extremes. Nutrition after 60 works best when it is calm, intentional, and repeatable. When the body receives clear, steady signals, it responds by stabilizing. In the next video, we'll go deeper into specific examples, breaking down exactly which nuts are safest to eat every day, which ones should be limited, and how to build a simple routine that supports joints, digestion, brain health, and energy as you age. If you want clear, science-based explanations that help you stay strong and independent after 60, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's next.